Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today, guys? We made it to Friday, man. It is almost the weekend, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time on today, Friday, December 21st, guys. 4 more days until Bitmas, guys. 4 more days until Bitmas, guys. Kind of excited, man. Everything going really well, and I hope you guys are doing fantastic today. I hope you guys are trading safely, and I hope everything is going well for you. Honestly, just hope you're having a really good day, guys. I want to personally thank, first off, sorry there was no show yesterday. I want to personally thank everybody that reached out to me and, offered me well wishes, offered my son congratulations in his convalescence. My son did have surgery yesterday, and it did go well. Obviously, ended up taking longer than I really thought it would be. It was a very simple outpatient procedure, honestly, but we were there for 8 to 10 hours, and he took it. He was a champion about it. So big props to him for having a lot of courage and bravery in the face of something that can be kind of terrifying for a 9-year-old kid. So, but I just want to thank everybody who reached out to me with well wishes. So thank you very much. But that's why I wasn't able to do a show yesterday, and that's why I was not very active in the Discord, actually at all yesterday. So I got home pretty late and just wanted to kind of keep him, comfortable and well rested and just spend time with him. So did that. We'll be probably a little busy today as well, but we're going to be able to take a look at the markets, take a look at our data, take a look at some cool news. Just kind of excited to get back in the fray of it, guys. So let's see. Let's start off with some normal stuff here today. Start off with some announcements. Obviously, we'll get into Bitcoin here in just a little bit. Let's take a look at how the trading group is doing, guys. I left it in the very capable hands of Scott and Alex yesterday. They did a fantastic job. We're actually looking at closing out our most successful week so far, because we've had very good week 1s and weeks 2s. So currently, like, total P&L on week 3 is 220%. Now, obviously, listen, I try to be very upfront and honest about this. We don't expect you to be able to take any trade, and it's not a reflection of your portfolio growth. My portfolio is only up about 15% this week on the allocations that I've allowed, because I'm only actively trading on Binance and Bitmas at the current point in time. But this is just a reflection of the total P&L on all trades taken, assuming you were able to enter into all trades. And of course, again, the reason this is not indicative of your entire portfolio growth is because, like any trader, we never go all in on any position. I will never allocate more than 5 to 10% of my portfolio on any individual trade, and that's only if I feel fairly strongly about it. Usually, it's actually less than that. Big winners. Let's see. We did a lot of trades yesterday. Alex and Scott were super active yesterday. Let's see. So, took a Litecoin short that immediately ran to both take profit targets. That was an 11% trade. Let's see here. Got stopped out on a Bcash trade. Took an XBT long, short scalp long. That was a 9% trade. Took another, doubled down on that BCH Z18 short. We're able to pull out a break-even profit on that, actually. Took an XBT short that is still active, actually. We hit the first take profit target on that, so that was a 15% trade. Doubled down with a with a third BCH Z18 short, and we're able to hit 6% profit on that as well. So stopped that on the first one, took 2 more scalps, and we're able to hit it very well. The big winner yesterday was our Cardano long on the Z18 contract. Ended up able to pull 22.55% on that trade as well, and it got stopped out on an OMG speculative entry. So we've got, I think, 3 active altcoin calls that are still active, moving our stops up because only one of those is not in profit. So overall, very successful day. I'm very happy with how Alex and Scott managed the trading group, guys. So I'm really blessed. I mean, the reason that we're able to have so many successful trades is that we have multiple analysts, multiple traders in Kraken Cryptocurrency. So even when I'm not active, we're able to cover the markets. Scott and I will still be speaking to the American Association of Individual Investors on January 19th. Our topics will be just initial investing in cryptocurrency. If you're not familiar with cryptocurrency, how to use mining as a passive source of income, et cetera, et cetera. So tickets are still available if you guys want to come out and see us or hang out. We don't get any money from the sale of this tickets. All this goes to AAII. So it's just an opportunity, though, if you want to come see us. We haven't done a speaking meeting since May, when we talked to the same organization, but in Chicago at the Law College there. So that was a really good, exciting time. A lot of people showed up. Actually, they told us that more people showed up for that than traditionally they do show up for these presentations for this particular organization. So looking forward to that. Gonna have a lot of fun with that as well. Okay, got some news, guys. Now, I'm kind of running a little behind today, but I did just want to go over this stuff with you as well. and got my screen cropped, so everything's not going to be super fantastic. Still working on figuring that out because I have it optimized for TradingView. So here we go. The first thing from CNBC: lawmakers look to change the SEC 72-year-old securities definition to exclude cryptocurrencies. Obviously, the highlights of this article are going to be that individuals have been pushing back against the idea that tokens are securities, that ICOs should be regulated the way that the traditional IPOs have been regulated. And there are 2 congressmen that are looking to change that with the new Token Taxonomy Act, which is a bipartisan bill being introduced to the House of Representatives. This would amend the Securities Exchange Act, which establishes the current structure for what a security is and adds a new definition for digital tokens. They say, quote, "These decentralized networks do not fit neatly within the existing regulatory structure," says blockchain lobbyist Kristen Smith. Quote, "This is a step forward in finding the right way to regulate them." So pretty interesting, pretty exciting. Of course, this doesn't mean anything. This might get shot down. We don't exactly know where the votes are for this at all. And with the state of politics in the United States being completely chaotic right now, with the fact of the stock market looking like it's going to fall off the edge of a cliff any moment here, looking at the traditional markets, actually, we have come down and rested on a key area of support that I was talking about. I think that we do get a little bit of a bounce from here, but I do think that initially, eventually, we do end up crashing through that support. I don't think this bounce will be able to establish a higher high. I think that on the SPX in particular, I think that we will establish a lower high and then come back down to retest the support and break. I don't really think there's much that that the Fed can do. Their rate hike was a step in the right direction, raising it another quarter point and projecting to raise it 2 more quarter points next year. That's not the issue. As Peter Schiff has said, I do completely agree with Peter Schiff on this issue. What really sealed our fate was them slashing interest rates to 0 in the first place, and not allowing the individuals who were really responsible for the 2008 financial crisis to pay the price. And for that, our fate has been sealed, really. And this is a global economic situation. So if you're not an American, this still is going to affect you, because we saw exactly what happened in the Eurozone when we had the 2008 financial crisis. Because the global because of the state of global finance, everything is so linked that one tumble over here. I mean, if you recall back to the initial 2008 financial crisis, once Lehman Brothers went down, it really started the cascading event that ended up with individuals in Spain not being able to take money to the ATM. So if you think that you live in a Eurozone country or an Asian country and that you won't be affected by this, the global markets will not be affected by this, unfortunately, you are mistaken. And, those who are in traditional markets are going to be taking a much more significant hit. What that means for me, although, is that Bitcoin definitely has not reached its bottom. We do have another significant leg down. I know that everybody's been excited about this nice little 20% run up that we've had, as Bitcoin does with its volatility and its liquidity. However, unfortunately, Again, it's very hard to say definitive things when you're dealing with markets. Again, I react, I don't predict. When I do predict, I'm predicting key areas to react from. So can I say anything with 100% certainty? No, absolutely not. Is there a Hail Mary opportunity that we have seen the bottom and we're just going to run up to 200,000 USD in the next 2 years? Anything can happen, guys. It is the market, it's volatile. But as a trader, you will be more successful if you look for opportunities to enter and exit at key areas. I think you'll be able to make much more profit off of that. And again, I'm counter, of course, do I have an ownership position in Bitcoin? Yes, absolutely. Do I believe in Bitcoin for the long term? More than any other asset that's out there. It has the capability and the propensity to be a life-changing fundamental asset for the entire world. And I do look at it as emancipation from the slavery of traditional markets, guys. From traditional centralized control. I do believe very, very, very strongly in Bitcoin, both from a psychological level, a financial level, a socioeconomic level. I think that it is one of the greatest inventions of the last century, honestly, and I do think that it is going to change the world. Now, having said that, though, unfortunately, as a realistic trader, I definitely do see Bitcoin being hit as the markets get dragged down, and I do think that we do end up bottoming around 2,300, the mid to low $2,000 area. I do feel fairly strongly about that, and I've laid out my reasons for that, which I will go over yet again when we get into the charts. So be looking for this. This is interesting, though. I will be keeping us up to date on this particular development in American law as well. All right, so Coinbase wants you to earn crypto while learning about crypto. So Coinbase did purchase earn.com, so you are going to have an opportunity to participate in their kind of They're educational little games and tools and programs, and for completing them, you will actually be earning tokens as a reward. So this is, as far as I'm aware, available to everybody. They did acquire Earn.com in April, and they've launched their first project out of that relationship, dubbed Coinbase Earn. So studies have shown, this is fascinating. Who could have guessed? Studies have shown that cryptocurrency holders and others who haven't invested in digital assets are lacking in knowledge about the assets they purchase. No, really? You're saying that people don't just like hear about like how awesome investing in cryptocurrency is, and they get on Binance and they're like, oh, I'm gonna buy some of this stuff, it's in the green, and then, you know, then they end up getting wrecked. No, of course that doesn't happen. We know that all cryptocurrency investors spend months and months patiently reading through white papers, ICOs, Reddit forums. You know, they spend a lot of careful, patient time formulating their investment plan and strategy, calculating their risk management, identifying their portfolio, what percentage of their portfolio they like to invest. We know, guys, we know that cryptocurrency investors are safe and strategic in how they choose to enter. It's not like they're just like all in, fuck it, 100x leverage. Unfortunately, I'm being sarcastic, as you guys I'm sure have picked up on. Unfortunately, having been in traditional, having traded in traditional commodities and equities, having traded in Forex, and having now since 2016 been actively trading in cryptocurrency, and that's the reason that I started this channel, I can tell you with alacrity the overwhelming irrationality of cryptocurrency investors to a higher standard deviation than traditional investors who invest in the retail stock market. I mean, it's a well-known fact in traditional markets that it's a rigged game, that 90% of traders do end up losing almost all of their money. It's a very small 10%, but it's a very, again, there's a reason for that, guys. When I talk to traders, and I've spent over almost 2 years now mentoring traders in the last 1 year, specifically in cryptocurrency, you know, the first thing that I start off with is risk management, and that's life-changing for most people. To just tell them that, hey, listen, no matter how you feel about this as a trader, you can only lose $100 or $150 on a trade. That's where you need to set your stop loss. That's how you can calculate out how much your position size is, and you're looking for conservative returns. You're looking to repeat conservative returns over and over again, and if you are thinking that you're just going to invest and you're going to catch that 5,000% gain, you're a fool. That is moonshots. Moonshots you can allocate like 1 to 3% of your entire portfolio and invest in because that's a particular investment strategy. But if that's your entire investment strategy, which unfortunately it seems like most people who have come into cryptocurrency over the last year to 18 months, that's been their investment strategy, is to just buy and hold, and they're looking for those big returns that you would have gotten if you would have gotten to cryptocurrency in the last decade. I don't think that that's a smart investment strategy. I think that honestly, realistically, the number of people who actually found that to be a successful investment strategy are very, very small. The actual amount of people who were lucky enough to sell in the $19,000 to $17,000 region after buying around the $5,000 region last year is an extremely small percentage, guys. I'm sorry. The reality is that most people who have subscribed to the buy and hold strategy, which I don't think is a smart investment strategy. Again, it's an investment strategy, but one that you should be going in with all of your portfolio. It's just the wrong thing to do. You should have multiple approaches to the market, multiple ways to be profitable. And again, as a primarily short-term trader, I do have allocations of my portfolio that I am comfortable in investing in long-term holds. But do they represent the majority of my portfolio? No, the majority of my portfolio is represented in allocations for establishing an ownership position in Bitcoin, which only about 30% of that has been hit so far, honestly, guys. Again, I've talked about this ad nauseum. I do think that Bitcoin bottoms in between the mid to low 2000s, and that's where I have strategically placed the larger amount of my capital that, again, I do have allocated for cryptocurrency at those levels. The other overwhelming, I'd say about 50% of my portfolio is allocated to trading in multiple avenues. All right, so guys, go check out that Coinbase Earn. You will have opportunities to earn tokens from participating in these little things, and you can learn a little bit more about the assets that you're investing in. Now, we did talk about this a while ago. Coinbase did move $5 billion according to them. This is the largest crypto transference on record. So they did kind of move everything over to their new cold storage, setup, which, according to them, was initially set up to be the backbone of their custodial system for their institutional investors. So, according to them, they have moved 5% of all Bitcoin, 8% of all Ethereum, and 25% of all Litecoin, along with, quote, many other assets, to their new cold storage infrastructure. So, Everybody was kind of freaking out about these large transferences of wealth across the blockchains. Well, if you trust Coinbase, there it is. There you have it. Coinbase has expanded their trading platform across 6 additional European markets. I didn't really get the chance to read this in depth, so we'll kind of go through this together. So Coinbase announced the news on Thursday, and again, I'm sorry that the screen is cropped, guys. You'll just have to bear with me. Coinbase announced the news on Thursday that it will be launching its trading platform in 6 new areas in the European market that will take its catchment to 33 countries in total across the planet. New customers in these markets will be able to make full use of Coinbase.com and our iOS and Android apps, allowing them to buy and sell cryptocurrencies on the Coinbase platform for the very first time. We also hope to make Coinbase Pro and Prime, it seems like somebody is copying Amazon, available in these regions over time. Let's see here. And they say, quote, next year we will continue expanding rapidly into new regions and adding assets to the Coinbase platform to meet customer demand. So looking like Coinbase is looking to aggressively grow over 2019, as I see that most of the individuals who are most of the institutions who are smart and are looking to weather this storm are looking to aggressively expand in 2019 as well. So I do think find our bottom. I do think that 2019 is probably going to be the beginning of the next bull run, or at least the next long-term accumulation phase. And we have a lot of data metrics to point to that. The 2020 halving, statistically throughout Bitcoin's history, the year before the halving is the best time to invest in cryptocurrency. So that would put us at 2019, around the end of Q1, Q2. All right, Facebook, Scott's pretty excited about this one. Facebook is developing a cryptocurrency for WhatsApp transfer, sources say. So Facebook Incorporated is working on making a crypto that will let users transfer money on its WhatsApp messaging app, focusing first on the markets in India, according to people familiar with the matter. Now, this is going to be a stablecoin, and I just want to point this out. I want to pull up Scott's comments to me, actually. I do want to pull this up because this is big. Now, I would like you guys to go check out Jackson Palmer put out an interesting video the other day. If you guys aren't familiar with Jackson Palmer, he is the creator of Dogecoin, and he does live streams where he talks about kind of fundamental issues in cryptocurrency. He has a good video that I watched yesterday during the car ride back and from the hospital, where he's talking about the paradox of the institutionalization of cryptocurrency. And one of the things that he talks about is that basically that, as cryptocurrency becomes institutionalized, we see that, we've seen this big, kind of arms outstretched, welcoming of institutional money into cryptocurrency, which unfortunately is a paradox because cryptocurrency was started as a response, at least Bitcoin, and then kind of other cryptocurrencies were started as a response to Bitcoin's success. But Bitcoin was initially started as a response to the 2008 financial crisis to have a decentralized ledger so that we would actually be able to go through and verify everything on the blockchain, to get away from centralized authority, to get away from a centralized point of failure so that something like Lehman Brothers couldn't bring down the entire system like they did with the traditional financial markets. Unfortunately, as we open our arms, as cryptocurrency opens their arms for institutional money to come in, for these institutions to come in and basically, quote, institutionalize cryptocurrency, we're getting away from the fundamental aspects of cryptocurrency and basically giving the power back to the individuals who messed this all up in the first place. So interesting things to go look at, and I look at that confluence here with what Facebook wants to do. Obviously, we know for those of you who share a similar kind of socioeconomic or political or anarcho-capitalist type mindset as I do, we're very wary about institutions and their ability to do things. And those of you who feel that Google, Facebook, Twitter are basically starting to act as thought police and starting to crack down on speech that they don't like, on behavior that they don't like. I mean, if I talked about this, I tweeted about this and talked about this on the live stream the other day with what Twitter is trying to do. Twitter has actually banned alternative history. So that if you want to talk about controversial alternative history, and some of the stuff is pretty obviously basic, like, no denial of the Holocaust, JFK, stuff like that. But again, like, it's very dangerous to begin legislating free speech. Like, do I think that people who deny the Holocaust are fairly like virulent, evil, sociopathic individuals? Like, yes, but do I think that those people have the right to talk about whatever the hell they have a right to talk about? Like, yes, because you do not foster freedom and free speech by cracking down on what you consider to be hate speech. And this is my big issue with the politicalization of this issue of free speech, is that, again, is there a lot of speech out there that is probably despicable? Like, absolutely yes. But is there a lot of but should it be protected and allowed? Yes, absolutely. I just realized that hopefully, okay, good. It's not like I guess I'm not getting a whole lot of lag, so Good. All right, kind of got warded off my thought there. But so this is going to be a stable coin. I would expect this to be insanely popular across the Indian markets. If Facebook does end up putting a lot of bang behind this buck. It is not. It says Facebook is far from releasing the coin because it's still working on the strategy, including a plan for custody assets or regular currencies that would be held to protect the value of the stablecoin. So basically like Tether, but without the FUD. Facebook has long been expected to make a move in financial services after hiring former PayPal president David Marcus to run its Messenger app in 2014. Anybody hear about that Telegram ICO? Haven't heard on that for a while. It's been over a year now. I wonder if that was a bust. Heard they raised a lot of money. So yeah, this is interesting. Let me go see if... okay. Let's see here. Scott's comments on this were, they are going to focus on India first. Of course, quickly, this would be a very top-performing stablecoin if Facebook did launch this, and it looks like they are going to launch this. Billions of people, of course, India is the fastest-growing coming online nation out there, or you know, subcontinent out there. Again, if you look at kind of the PewDiePie T0 controversy, YouTube and Google specifically are heavily targeting India. In fact, all the major tech companies are targeting India. Why? Because it's the fastest emerging marketplace, and they want to lock in that good sweet cash and that brand loyalty and that usership. Let's see here. First off, just India, it could be bigger than almost all other crypto stablecoins in cryptocurrencies themselves. And then after that, they're probably going to expand to the Asia, Europe, American markets. Potentially has the potential to become the largest, most used stablecoin in the entire world. If the dollar and crypto prices are going down, they have to push the money to a stablecoin. Yeah, for real. That would be, things like this, like if Google launches a stablecoin, Facebook launching a stablecoin. I do want to, from a particular standpoint where I feel strongly about this, I do want to be very cautious about that and talk about the implications that this could have for the original purpose of creating cryptocurrencies in the first place. So I do want to thank everybody for joining me today. We do have a lot of people. In the chat today, man. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Fifth Ronin, how we doing, man? MRX Media, what's going on? VP, hey, good morning to you, man. Joey V, thanks for joining us, man. Gabe Anderson and Satoshi Nakamoto, what's going on? MT Coiner from Montana, what's going on, brother? MBait22, what's up, man? Mr. Decipher X, what's going on from the UK, man? Top of the morning to you. Gabe, yep. Peppo Max, thanks, man. Crypto Friends. Interesting. 1 second, guys. I swear, if I get one more spam telephone call, I'm done. No, it's funny. Let's see. Sixy, hey, what's going on? Christian Devick, how we doing? Nitin Soki, thanks, man. Nitin, I don't know if Scott responded to your message, but I would recommend that you just join the Discord and either DM Scott or myself, or all the information's on our website, krakencryptocurrency.com, under trading services, man. We'd love to see you in there. We've been growing quite rapidly over the past few months. Let's see here. Just want to get to everybody before I get into the money, man. Krypton mining, sometimes you're funny, sometimes it's fun. Just keep it reasonable, man. I don't mind you coming in here and having fun, man. But Christian, have I ever gone 50x or even 100x on any position? Never, ever, never in my life. No, never, no. Let's see. MBait says 123% of my portfolio on moonshots. Got it, man. All right, man. Let's see here. Okay, cool. I think I've got most of the chats. Yeah, VPs. Jackson did do a very good video on that. All right, cool. And asleep at the wheel. Hey, what's going on, guys? Okay, so let's get into the charts, guys. So, looking at Bitcoin from the Bitstamp exchange which is our standard of measuring Bitcoin price here, we do have some interesting things. Obviously, we are experiencing a red day today, currently priced down about $100. We do have this, looking at candlestick patterns, we do have this tweezer top potential reversal pattern here, but the volume on this reversal candle it is not a certified legitimate reversal candle yet. That would be a something like a hanging man, or it would be an evening star, kind of gravestone doji type formulation. Right now, depending on how the daily actually closes, it is kind of vacillated between just being something like a kind of like a bullish retracement candle, or a more bullish bias optimism would be that it is going to be a spinning top doji, which is still a weak reversal indecision candle. And generally, what that does positive is that we're going to experience a little bit of sideways. But if you look at the overwhelming bullishness of Bitcoin on its movement upwards, we did have this inverted hammer candle right here. Traditionally, and this gravestone doji, traditionally that is a strong reversal candle. And when we were actually speaking on that day, that's why I said that. Again, I was looking for a potential area there to short. Did not end up being a successful trade. That's okay. That's why you have to be cautious about the upward momentum and make sure that you're keeping your risk management strategy quite tight. So we are in an active short at this moment that Alex did call yesterday. So we're going to play that position out. I do feel more safe in a short, whether it ends up being a scalp or whether it ends up being a long-term actual retracement. We do have currently acting as support right now our previous equilibrium order block right here, which is going to stretch us in between 3,900 and 3,824. So my initial take on this is that if we do end up closing below 3,900, I would look for a more extensive retracement back to test some of these areas as support, most likely around the $3,700 to $3,500 area, and I'd look to be keeping my short open to those areas. When we do reach those areas, I would be potentially speculatively looking to enter into a long position if we did actually retrace back that far, unless we just end up crashing all the way through. So until that time, I would be looking to keep my short open. And then potentially as we get closer to those levels, looking to hedge. And then if the short ends up being successful, I will cancel my hedges and just re-add to my short position. And if the hedge ends up being successful, then I will just close out my short position and add to my hedge. I mean, this is how you do it, guys. Highly recommend that you do have. Highly recommended that you do have if you are trading on Bitmex. I think that you can maximize your success if you. And I believe that you can do this. I don't trade on Deribit, but I do believe that you can go long and short simultaneously on Deribit so that you can actually hedge your positions. You do require 2 Bitmex accounts if you are going to be hedging on Bitmex. So you go long on one account, short on the other account. This is how professionals do it. You look for key areas to go short from, of course. You look for key areas to take a hedge long open. And then whatever position ends up being successful, you simply reduce from the unsuccessful position, you scale out, and you scale into the successful position, and you just look to maximize profits in that fashion. So, we do have kind of this previous equilibrium order block area right here, which is kind of congruent with what I'm looking for here as well. So I would say that if we are able to close the daily candle, I mean, you have this area right here as well. So let's put this horizontal ray here. You have this area right here, which is acting as current resistance. So if we are able to close the daily candle, I would say above like 4150. I know I have that line at 4143, but if we're able to close the daily candle above 4150, then I would be looking for us to potentially actually complete the measured move of the falling wedge that I had charted out here. That is actually bringing us around 4402 on the daily chart. That is also probably going to be where our 55 exponential moving average probably creeps around and hangs out here for a little bit. Do we close at this area? Probably not. I would expect potentially a wick up to this area. So we'll see how the daily candle closes. Again, my overall bias at looking at this is that if we do end up closing the daily in a bearish pattern, if we close the daily with a spinning top doji like it currently looks right now, and we have indecision, more than likely we're going to be range bound here for potentially a day or two until Bitcoin either breaks to the upside by trading above that $4,000 range, really bullish above that 4150 range. Again, just for a short-term trade, guys. I think that we're getting exhausted here. I could see another leg up potentially around to that $4,400 area if we are actually able to trade above 4150. Especially on a closing daily basis. I definitely don't think that's going to happen on today's candle unless we do get a massive rally right here. More than likely, we do end up closing the candle more bearishly than bullishly. If 3,900 does not act as support, if it does break down, I will not be looking to open up a hedge long at that particular area. We do have that around that $3,700 area. We do have all our slower EMAs, our 21 period EMA coming up and creeping up on us as well. So that's another area where you a hedge long to your position. And again, you also have this high volume node coming in right around 37.15, 37.10. So key areas to watch out for and look for if you are looking to add a hedge long to your position at this point in time. However, I feel much more comfortable in a short position, and we'll just see at what point we decide to cancel that out as the markets move down. What do I think the likelihood for a bounce is here at this point in time? I think that the likelihood for a bounce on the daily right now is less likely. I do think that if we are going to break out, it will more likely be in a consolidation, slow creep up, and then a violent breakout. How strongly do I think that that movement would be? Let's see here. Let's take a look at our trend-based fib extension and just try to get some metrics for this. So let's measure from here to here actually, and then we'll measure. Let's say that we actually do make it down here to this equilibrium order block, or even potentially, let's say we do make it down here to 3,700 and we do close off that. Yeah, we have that doing the trend-based fib extension. We do have that 618 Fibonacci extension bringing us around that $4,300 area. So kind of an interesting area to keep your eye on right here if we do get another impulse wave upwards around 4,300 to 4,450. Again, I feel I would only be targeting probably 4,400 myself. That is actually the measured move of the falling wedge. Do I think we actually close up there and continue up to 5,000? I really don't think so. I know that some people are looking at this as a potential inverted head and shoulders. So we do have the left shoulder right here. We have the head. We do need to form the right shoulder as well. I cannot speculate on that, and you should not be speculating on that as well until we actually form and complete that area. So if we do, and that would actually be pulling us back down again to that $4,700 area. So we just have to wait and see what volume is doing if we do get a nice healthy pullback to that $3,700 area. Again, that's where our current high volume node is right now. We also have another one around that $3,800 area as well. If we do end up bouncing off that $3,800 area, I would actually be less positive about the momentum that we could carry off of this. More than likely, we do only move up here to the 4,150 in that case and then reject from there. If we do pull back down to that $3,700 area, I'll feel more confident about actually establishing that as support for another impulse wave up. But I do still, at this point in time, feel more confident in the short position. I did just want to point out those upward targets and potential areas for you guys to keep your eye on. All right, going over here to Bitmas, let's pull up the 4-hour chart, and I do want to talk about this. Now, yes, I did take profits too early on my XBT USD long. I did exit it in totality, which is not normally what I do. I normally scale out of positions, but I do feel happy though. Again, people called me crazy back when I was talking about longing. When we did break down from this area, I was looking for areas to enter into a long. Again, just to give you guys the recap, I'm not going to give you guys the full recap, but if you guys, again, you can ask anybody on the Discord. The original position was fills at 3,500, fills at 3,300, did get a partial fill at 3,200. On that particular trade, we did end up exiting out of the trade at 36.20. That was the measured move of the inverted head and shoulders on the lower time frames. We did refill at 3,200 and 31.64. Took profits, really short scalp on that. Took profits at 32.80. And then we did refill again at 3,200 and 31.50. I also had buy set at 3,100 and 30.50. 50. I've had these lines on my chart haven't changed, guys. I said that we would be up here drinking beer at 40.24, and although I did take profits too early, again, sometimes I'm happy with that, guys. I took profits too early. That's all right. I'm happy and comfortable that I did take my profits and were able to not suffer any loss whatsoever on any of the XBT positions, except for two short scalps that had been posted on this move up from 3,600 to 4,000, and that's okay. The profits that I made from entering around 31.50, average entry of 31.75, and taking profits at 3,500, I was quite happy with. Quite happy with on that trade. But yes, the long-term projection that I did have for XBT did end up playing out just beautifully, just like a charm. We did hit the take profit targets at 37.32, 38.65, and of course our much vested 40.24, guys. So just in congratulations for those of you who stuck with the trade for the long term. Congratulations on your profits, guys. You would have made a whopping. Well, you pretty much would have entered at the bottom and caught the whole movement here. You would have made a whopping 27%, actually 40.24, a whopping, 27% multiplied by your leverage if you were trading on Bitmas, or if you were just doing the traditional charts or just the traditional trade as well. Congratulations to you guys who took that trade. All right, so now at this point, I will go ahead and delete those because that trade is done. And now I will be looking for new entry opportunities. All right. So I am going to recalculate and redo my chart today. as I get time to do it again. I just kind of wanted to log on here. Didn't really get a chance to look at the news. I just wanted to give you guys a market update. Take some look at your requests, and kind of scoot about on my own merry way. Keep the members updated. Look at some potential trade setups, and just make sure you guys knew I was alive. I do want to spend the majority of the day making sure my son is comfortable, just spending time with him, of course. Of course, he is off from school, so he is very patiently sitting in the other room and playing some Fortnite, I do believe, if he's not actually taking a nap. Ooh, there's a star left. Thank you. Good looking out, brother. All right, so let's check out here, man. See what I... Ooh, the chat just kind of blew up, man. Xantimus Crypto asks, dude, what indicator do I use on the right side of my screen? Dude, volume profile, visible range, my friend. So you do require the TradingView Pro account to access it, but you can sign up for that free. You can sign up for that free 30-day trial if you want and get access to it as well. Once you do have that Pro account, you simply go into indicators, and it's under volume profile. You will have access to fixed range, session volume, and visible range as well. Crypto friends, sometimes I do wonder if you're a real person, man. Cogito Ergo Zoom. I do really like that name, man. This mini run was all manipulated. Next actual run will be at the next halvening. I could agree with you on that. Nick Welch, I see XRP shillers everywhere these past few months. It's like the bots are out, the tribalism is back. Yeah, I do agree, man. I do agree. Texas Blue says, hey man, I can see a possible inverted head and shoulders forming on the BTC daily early, but looks like a drop to form the inverted right shoulder may happen. Can you see it? Yep, I just talked about that, man. Can you block names from the Restream bot? Yes. You'd have to ask Scott about doing that. Vansh Bajaj, Tone says it's an inverted head and shoulders. Usman Showcout, hey, what's going on, man? TRX and BCH ABC, please. Yeah, sure, I'll take a look at those, man. TRX and BCH ABC. All right. Jack the Ripper Death, I'm no man. Well, I apologize, ma'am. But it started right on. Wouldn't it be like Janice the Ripper then? Again, you're free and entitled to whatever you want, whatever name you want to use. And I just am appreciative that you are joining us for the live stream. Thank you so much. Rooting for the resistance break at 4250. Let's take a look and gander here and look at the traditional charts here. So you do have, let's see, resistance at 4250. Let's see where you're getting that. Okay, yeah, of course. That's the top of the equilibrium break right there. Yep, so you're looking for the daily candle close break at 42.50. I would be a little bit more conservative just looking for this actual equilibrium break right here at 41.43. But yes, then that is a good area where you would potentially be looking to maybe speculatively add to your position. But again, I'm only really looking for that movement to go to 4,400. I think that we do get some pretty strong rejection from that area. And if not, consolidate back in this equilibrium order block, potentially even a push back down. To whatever order block we establish right here as well. I'm more comfortable right now with a pullback to the $3,700 region. It wouldn't surprise me though if we do not make it actually down that far. That would just be a little bit more bullish. But I do want to counsel this, that if we don't get the less of a pullback, the weaker the upthrust will probably be. So could we get an upthrust up here without pulling back to 3,700 to 4,400? Yes, we potentially could. I could definitely see that as well. But I'm just going to wait and react and not predict. Again, I feel more comfortable right now being in my short position on the daily. And really in the small time frames too as well. I mean, look at this. This is a lot of indecision. Again, the bulls struggling valiantly to push price up here, but this does more than likely look like it might break again. You can take the breakout here right now. Looking at the short term, you could take the breakout on the XBT at 40.73 if we do trade above that area. But I'd be very hesitant. Again, look at these wicks that are just kind of getting you trapped into a long position. So I would wait for a nice, at least a 4-hour candle close above that area. Then you can look at potentially taking this trade up to these areas as well. All right. Red 5 Golf Gunny says bull trap, bull flags. Hey Parker, what's going on, man? Bull trap. Yeah, I mean, this is typically the area where you would call this, again, we have to wait and see if it plays out to call it a bull trap, but is it looking like a bull trap for those who want to enter into a long now? Yeah, definitely it does to me. Again, I never like to long resistance. I always like to short support. Again, this was the last short that I took. We actually got in at 38.19. We were able to actually, it did not end up being a sustained pullback, but we were able to short scalp this movement right there. So it's kind of interesting, counter trend trading using the dominant strategy that has carried us so well so far for this area. But you know, if you take kind of a longer look at this area, there's also another pattern that you could probably see that I'm sure people are talking about. You do have the inverted head and shoulders. You could potentially look at this as a cup and handle forming. That would require a pullback here to, let's see here. So a couple ways that you would traditionally play the cup and handle pattern. Right here, as you would look to enter right here in between the 236 and the 582. So that's going to give you an entry around 38.40. So on the 4-hour chart for XBT, actually, that is coming right around your 21 exponential moving average as well. That's your traditional, that's your medium aggressive pullback strategy, your very aggressive pullback strategy for me anyways. And it's the same thing with Ichimoku as well. And it just depends on your preference. Again, sometimes I'll switch it up. Alex had made a good point. You know, he's like, you know, sometimes because I do, you know, he kind of said, well, you're ambidextrous as a trader because you can look at an Ichimoku strategy, you can look at an exponential moving average strategy, you can look at your horizontal support and resistance strategy, which is what I favor, just order block trading. And you know, and you can look for potential trade setups in all these different avenues, and it works for you. Some people aren't able to follow along with that, and I think that's one thing that I need to be cautious of when I am making my videos, because I do get some comments sometimes that people are like, hey, you know, you talk fast and you're a little confusing. So I am doing my best to kind of slow it down and explain things in detail about what I see, why I see I'm looking at, guys. So I'm going to be taking a break here in about 15 minutes. When I get back, I will be looking at requests. So yes, if you were entering for the traditional cup and handle pattern, you would be looking to enter around 38.50, which would also be looking for a bounce off your 21 exponential moving average on the 4-hour chart. You would be managing risk, and I do like how this is. You would be managing risk right beneath your 50% Fibonacci retracement that is actually sitting at 36.45, and right where your 55 period moving average is as well. So that is also your stop loss strategy as well. Again, feeling more confident with the short in this. I will be watching fairly closely around this 21 exponential moving average, around these areas as well. But more than likely, I do think this probably forms, I think this probably does have a nice 50% pullback as well. And that's frustrating for those of you who do want to enter into a cup and hand, ooh, headache. That is frustrating for those of you who are looking to enter into this potential cup and handle pattern, because yes, the traditional way to enter into a cup and handle pattern is to look for your entry right here in between your 236 and your 382 Fibonacci retracement. You would be managing risk right beneath your 50% Fibonacci retracement. The reason that is frustrating is because the secondary entry for a cup and handle pattern is your 618 Fibonacci retracement, which right now is coming around 35.20. You would be managing risk right below your 786 Fibonacci retracement. I feel that that's the stronger setup. Why? Because you do have this very strong point of control right here. Your point of control right now on the 4-hour chart coming in around 33.86. If you do see that as the highest high volume node of this trading range right here. Setting your stop below that area is a very good strategy, because if that point of control is actually broke to the downside, then you are looking at a genuine reversal in trend and a complete wash of this baby up cycle right here. So I would be more interested in looking at those areas for a potential entry, for looking at a potential, and again, but only if we do actually bottom in that area, that would be forming the right shoulder of this inverted head and shoulders pattern, and would be the secondary entry for a potential cup and handles pattern. So let us take that measurement and see what we get here. Let's take a horizontal ray. So we do have our left shoulder right here, so we would be forming our neckline right here. Now let's take a measured move from peak to trough. From our ray to our neckline is going to be a 28% move, so a $1,223 move. So if we do take that and project that upwards, let's see here, 1,223. Let's say right there. Boom. All right. So that does give us 5,589, which would be right back at our previous distribution order block as well, guys. That would actually be right above. So if I was actually looking for a take profit target, I would definitely be undershooting it right beneath this high volume node right here at about 5,452. So what do we need to see to play that out? I guess you could also look at a potential measurement of your neckline. I mean, you could really take it. You could be as conservative as you wanted. Just looking at this, I could see potentially charting the neckline right here, around 3,900, maybe even, you know, around that $4,000 area as well. You could also take the neckline right here. There's a lot of ways to measure, you know, depending on how aggressive or conservative you want to be. You can either measure from the trough to the peak of the left shoulder. You can measure from the trough to the peak of the right shoulder. So doing that would give you two different targets. So let's actually take a conservative measurement of the right shoulder, if this does form into a right shoulder. And I'm going to use candle body closes on the 4-hour chart. So that would actually give us a measurement here of $955. So let's measure up from the break of that neckline, $955. Right there, $5,025. Okay, so you do have two potential measurements right here. Let's go ahead and label these. We have aggressive measured move of left shoulder, inverted head and shoulders. And here you have the conservative measured move of right shoulder, inverted head and shoulders. Okay. So we'll go ahead and keep those on the chart for now, just for demonstration purposes. And I will keep these on the chart as well. So we do have neckline, aggressive, left shoulder, inverted head and shoulders. And right here. Neckline, conservative, right shoulder, inverted head and shoulders. All right, so we will keep those on the chart, guys. We will keep those on the chart and see how that plays out. So the way that you would enter into this trade, if you are looking to enter at the optimum area, there's a couple of different ways to do it. You can wait for the right shoulder to form. If it does form, that would actually require a pullback to the 50% to the 618 Fibonacci retracement right here. Looking potentially in that area to establish the right shoulder right around this previous resistance, which would hopefully become support. We do have resistance here. We break through it. We need to pull back to establish it as support. You could potentially look at this here as a pullback to establish support, but I'd like to see a more actual establishment of this as support. Coming in right around that high volume node. So that's going to be putting you around $3,500 to $3,600. Look for that right shoulder. Look for that nice little V bottom or consolidation area, and then look for that upward movement. I would wait until you see that upward movement, potentially even wait for this 382 Fibonacci retracement to get broken around 3769. And then you set your stop loss below that, that bottom of the right shoulder is the way to manage risk. Because if that right shoulder is broken, then the entire pattern is invalidated, and you are actually looking at reversal in trend. So this was not a bottoming. This was actually a test of support and a break of that support. And if that does happen, then most likely we are now going to be doubling down on our short position. We are invalidating our buys at 3,000 because that likely will not hold a multiple a second time. Could we see a second bounce off of it? I have seen that theory posited that 3,000 is going to become the new 6,000. I'm not sure if I buy that. I think that if 3,000 does break on a convincing, especially a daily candle closing basis, even a wick down below, it really starts to concern me. And I don't look to really enter in that $2,900 area. I know that I've seen, the reason why is because I just look and see what a lot of other people are doing, and I base myself off my own analysis, and seeing the fact that so many people think that, oh, if 3,000 breaks, it's just going to wick down to 2,900. It's cool, and then it's going to shoot up to 6,000. I highly doubt it. If we break 3,000, I think that's going to trigger, that would be a break, a close below the 200 period simple moving average. That's going to trigger so many traders, so many automated algorithms that we're going to move down into this, as I have here on the chart, in between that $2,800 area, just that miasma chasm of yawning abyss below us. And that's why I have the directional pads right there. D pads for the win. All right, so yeah, so that's how you would look to enter into that. So for the moment, I am very comfortable in a short position. If we do end up actually breaking above here on a closing basis, that $4,000 area, which is actually our current resistance, then I probably would be looking to potentially enter into a long position, or at least hedging my short position, maybe looking for areas to add on to my short as we move up here, but definitely opening up a hedge long and looking for those upside targets here where we have resistance at about that 43.45, maybe even that 42.50 as somebody pointed out. Again, we do have that measured move over here of the falling wedge pattern at 4,400. So key areas to keep your eye on. But do I think that if we actually do break up from right here, we get another really impulsive, huge move? No, more than likely not. I'd be much more happy to see, I'd be much more positive about another aggressive impulse move if we actually do have anything can happen. So that's, again, why I would say I would be looking to potentially enter into a hedge long if we do actually close above this, above 4,000, at least on a 4-hour candle basis here. So just to recap, a pullback to 3,600. Looking for a right shoulder or that cup to form, however you want to play it out. The cup and handles and the inverted head and shoulders pattern pretty much give you the same targets. The cup and handle pattern is going to give you that conservative right shoulder target at 5,025, and the aggressive measured move of the left shoulder is going to give you that target of 5,589. Now, am I playing that right now? No, absolutely not. Again, I will be, though, if I do see confirmation that we are forming that right shoulder. Hey, Jurgen Ernst. Hey, man, I appreciate your opinion. Yes, as well. I do kind of have a, I guess as a crypto anarchist, I do take a fairly aggressive stance. You know, as a libertarian, I take a fairly aggressive stance to free speech. I think that you defeat bad speech with better speech, and I think you defeat bad arguments with good arguments. So, you know, it's all a matter of, yes, I actually do agree with you in semantics, actually. I do agree with you that we do need to protect our children. So some topics are off limits, yes, but it comes down to how do you want that to be enforced? Do you want the government to have the control over that enforcement? I don't. I think that it's totally fine to set standards as a community and say that, listen, as a community, we've agreed to follow these rules and live by these standards. That's totally fine, because that's freedom. That's the freedom of individuals to engage in open Congress and to engage in open debate and speech as they see fit. And if humans, if individuals want to choose to have certain topics off limits in a society, that's absolutely fine. Where I get very scared is when you give a tyrannical government the power to regulate free speech, and that's why I don't like corporations doing that as well, because they're private entities. They're private entities. I would much rather have the regulation of speech. And again, they just need to be honest with that. You know, Twitter comes off and says that they are basically a free speech platform, yet they're going to turn around and regulate speech that they don't like. Do I think that there is some speech that should be, you know, verboten? I mean, I'm sympathetic to people who agree with that, and that's totally fine. If you choose you want to live your life that way, you should be free to do that. It's not like, you know, if I want to talk about a certain topic, you are forced to talk about that topic. That's not freedom. That's tyranny. I just don't want the tyranny of individuals telling me what I can and can't talk about. But as a father, I totally agree with you on what I want to protect my children from, man. It just comes down to, where do you want it to be? Where do you want it to be? You know, what power do you want to give the government, essentially? And what power do you want to give the corporations to regulate? ETH USDT, be taking a look at that when I return from my break. Yep, let me write that down. Pepel Max asks, could this be an Elliott wave? I don't do Elliott waves, man. Sorry, man. I didn't mean that to be dismissive, but even Justin got a headache, man. Breaking Monero, first episode starting soon. KNZN on Twitch. Hey, man, what's going on? So are we overall bullish then? I'm actually overall bearish at this particular moment in time. I will be looking to add a hedge long if we do end up closing above 4K. But I will become bullish if we actually do form something that looks like a right shoulder right here or a handle on this cup. Max X says, I just realized an issue with volume profile. How far back does it go back in volume timeline? The portion of the visible chart? Yes, that's why it's volume profile, visible range. Yeah, I am sorry about my audio cutting out. I am ordering a new microphone for Christmas, so sorry about that, guys. And XRP. All right, so I got all my requests in, TRX, BCH, ABC, ETHUSDT, and XRP. KNZN, man. I'm screwed, man. I entered a cross leverage on accident, and I got 0.15 BTC left. Oh, man, that's rough, dude. I needed to hit 39.91 again so I can break even. Yeah, we could get a little bit of a bounce right here. Could get a little bit of a bounce. 2 candles down, 1 candle up. You could look for a wick to the upside here. Just, yeah, just be careful with that cross leverage, man. I never use that stuff. G off, hey, man. That's funny, bro. Okay, yes, I'll tell you what, guys. Let me go to, sorry, guys. Let me moderate the chat just a little bit. Yeah, crypto friends, I'll tell you what, man, you got to cut it down a little bit, bro. Just cut it down just a little bit, man, or I'm gonna have to, again, you know, I'm all for free speech, man, but just chill out a little bit, man. Chill out a little bit. All right, guys, I'm gonna take a quick break. And ETH, please. Yes. I will look at, don't worry, man. I got ETH on the chart, brother. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break for a minute or two, man. Stretch my legs. And I will return. I'll look at, let's see here. I'll look at TRX, Bcash, ABC, ETH, and XRP for you guys. Not a problem. I'll go over our $50 Bitmas giveaway that people have been participating in, and give you the lowdown on that, how you can enter. We'll also look at our data metrics. That's, you know, kind of the format that I want to establish the show at is, you know, again, I want to show you guys potential trades and show you guys as a trader, like how you can look at the charts and what trades you can enter and how, or how you could look at setting up your own trades. Again, I want this to be a guide, not a, you know, watch me to see what I'm doing. Again, I think you guys should be generating your own unique trade ideas. And if your own unique trade ideas are counter to what I'm doing, hey man, that's cool, dude. It might work out because I get stopped out. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just a profitable trader. But I do want to be looking at all our data metrics, and I'm going to actually form a spreadsheet for us to do on the live show so we can actually measure, like, okay, here's what longs and shorts are. Here's the market depth ratio. Here's the bid-ask sum. Here's the social media sentiment. Here's, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Here's the daily volume. And then we can go over that as well. Omega asks for XLM also. Yeah, why not? I'll throw XLM in there, guys. All right, so I'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We got the announcements. We got to talk about the $50 giveaway, and we also have... Hey guys, thanks for hanging in there. Had to take the quick halftime break, you know what I'm saying? I drink a lot of water during the stream. And it's that air, man. It's that air. Where I'm living at. So, all right, guys, let's take... Hey, I guess I didn't get the pop-up, man, but Angelus, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube, man. Highly appreciated. All right, let me check the chat here real quick. Let's see here. Crypto Panic, hey, I don't blame you, man. Art, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude. Thanks for coming back and learning, brother. David Wolf, I'm late. What's the consensus on BTC? Bear or bull? I am short-term bearish. I'm speculatively. I think you'll get the most out of this if you rewind and watch. So basically what we've done is we've looked at a potential inverted head and shoulders, also a potential cup and handle pattern that might be forming. Again, it's very hard for me to be excited about that until I actually see the inverted head and shoulders form, which would require us retracing down here to the 50% or the 618 Fibonacci retracement, basically where our 55-period exponential moving average is right here on the 4-hour chart, also where this high volume node coming in right here around 3,700. So looking, again, that would be a little higher than the actual 50% 618 retracement, but I would look for those areas to actually see a right shoulder form wherever we do end up forming it, if we do form a right shoulder. But right now I'm very confident and feeling very safe in a short position right now, at least for the short term. Again, I kind of took yesterday off, so Alex, Alex and Scott managed the trades. Alex popped us in some very awesome trades yesterday, man. And currently has us in a short position right now for the trading group. So we've already hit our first scalp target for that, looking good. We are extending targets down to the downside as well. So feeling very confident in that, not really feeling strong bounce areas. I mean, could we get a nice little bounce here around the $3,800 area? Yeah, we could. You've got your 21 exponential coming in right there. You do have these high volume nodes as well. But that would make me less confident about the upward thrust. If you guys are looking for a big bullish movement, it'd be better to see a healthier pullback, a little bit of consolidation, let coins change hands, and then we could see that up thrust right there. But again, if you're playing very conservative too, you're also waiting for these necklines to be broken as well, and then setting your targets up here. We have two targets, either the aggressive target of the left shoulder measurement or the conservative target of the right shoulder measurement. But again, all this is speculative because we don't actually have a right shoulder formed whatsoever. I'll tell you what, this is not a right shoulder. Not in any way that would be an extensive sustained movement. All right, so let's get to the requests, guys. Let's get to the requests. What did I have down? TRX first. All right, TRX BTC. All right, so if you guys have been following the channel for a while, guys, we did talk about this a while ago, guys. I was asked to chart out potential entries for TRX. This was back here, actually, I believe, because that's where I would have drawn these boxes out. So this was my conservative load zone, my aggressive load zone. You were managing risk down here, and that trade has worked out beautifully for you. I mean, I know that Bitpot in the trading group, he's been murdering TRX lately, just absolutely murdering it. And then we do have this blow off top, and all these red lines were take profit targets. So you've hit 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 take profit targets, and now we are up in that. Look where we're getting rejection from. We are getting rejection from that equilibrium resistance order block as well that I had plotted out. Very hard for me to be overly enthusiastic. I mean, look at that. That is a blow off top if I've ever seen one. Looking at the 4-hour chart, let's switch to the daily chart just so we can see a little bit clearer here. See what we can see. Yes, so we do have a blow off top. Again, yes, I have Ichimoku right now just because when I'm looking at altcoins, again, I'm kind of ambidextrous with how I look at trading. If you guys find that discerning or hard to follow, just stay tuned, guys. It's going to be okay. Looking at the daily chart here for TRX BTC on Binance, yes, we do have a lot. We do have a big blow off top. Look at that bullish volume coming in right here on today's daily candle. I mean, that's just a massive, massive, massive daily candle. That's a 20% gain candle. You are expecting to get some violent pushback from that again, as you are coming into that previous distribution order block as well that we had looked at. Let's switch the template now to the volume profile. Wild left price go. As I had talked about, we are coming into that next high volume node. Now, if you are able to actually get above this resistance order block, then now you have some other upside targets as well. So let's go ahead and plot these out at that time. So your next upside target is going to be right here at 566. Let's change that to red. Your next one's going to be coming in around Again, the way I look for take profit targets is I look for the actual levels of wicks to the downside when I'm looking to come back up. Those were pockets of liquidity where people were interested in buying on the way down, where you had large limit orders in the books. Either there'll be relics of those limit orders, or if you are a savvy trader, those are areas where you're looking to retarget as well. And then we have our next take profit target coming up around 721. So if you are looking to be bullish to the upside, the next take profit targets are going to be 566, 612, and 721. Looking at this right now, it's very hard for me to, it's very, very hard for me to be looking for a potential, looking for entries in these blow off tops. Again, you've already had your breakout trade. All you're doing right now is trailing your stop up, trailing your stop up, trailing your stop up, and looking to take profits at these levels. Again, the way that I trade is fairly aggressive. So when I do actually get a breakout, I calculate take profit targets. When I do hit my first take profit target, my stop loss gets moved to my entry zone. As I hit take profit 2, our stop loss moves up. Take profit 3, stop loss moves up, and so on and so forth. Many ways to do this, guys. I really like 3 commas, so you guys can use an aggressive trailing stop or a conservative trailing stop at whatever percentage point away that you'd like to be in. You can always look to re-enter a trade when it looks in your favor. Looking at TRX, I am expecting this to pull back a little bit. Let's take a move. Let's take a Fibonacci retracement on this bad boy right here, and let's measure from our low to our high right here and see where we're likely to get a pullback here as well. All right, so currently we're looking at pulling back initially right now to the 236 at 490, and an ultimate aggressive entry would be there at that 490 level. I would prefer to see a more conservative pullback right here. If you look at our 50% retracement, that would be pulling us back to our previous resistance breakout, and also our resistance that we had historically as well, that was forming this descending trend line that we did break out from as well. So is that valid anymore? No, because it only had 2 touches and it wasn't overly an impressive trend line. I just drew that on there just to have some kind of context for trading. All right, so if we are looking at a healthier pullback, we are looking at 418 to 386. I'd be very comfortable. Again, I'm not sure. I don't think we did enter into a short, but this would have definitely been your entry position, your entry area for a short. As you can see, didn't just magically throw this box up. It was on there for a reason. This is that high volume node area, especially seeing a nice blow off top like that. If you were in a short position right now, you'd already be in nice profits right now. Just kind of see how far this thing goes down. Looking at, I mean, we are well above all of our exponential moving averages. We are well above any kind of take profit target. The next areas of support that I could see potentially coming in, we do have this previous, I don't think this high volume node is going to hold up. We just blew right through it. Again, you have to take this into context. When you blow right through things, you tend to blow right through them again on the way back down. You know, I could see a potential retest of this entire area. If you can see, we do have the value area right now that kind of stretches from around 400 Satoshis down to around 300 Satoshis. So could I see a retest of this entire value area? Yes, I could. Just depends on how aggressive the sellers decide to be. Definitely, if you were in a long position on this, definitely this is an area where I would be looking to take profits. I'm not exactly sure how aggressive the buyers would be able to push this back up. Again, you just look for these take profit targets to act as support on your way back down. So again, now we've got support coming in around 469, 441. I'm more overly looking for a pullback around that 400 to 420 level. I would potentially be looking to enter into another position around that time. Again, I did not trade TRX spot. I did not capture this on TRX spot. We were taking positions on TRX on the on Bitmas on the Z18, probably migrating over to the H19 contract now though. However, looking for those higher areas of liquidity. Although until so we do have actually 7 more days until the contract is market closed for the Z18 contract, and I do find that right towards the end of the contract is when you do get wild volatility and liquidity as well. So be definitely looking for an impact around those areas. All right, so let's take a look here and see. So if the daily candle does end up closing, again, it's very hard for me to look at this and say you should buy. Just looking at this blow off top and this massive spike of buying volume at the top of an uptrend, this is definitely an area where I am looking for a nice healthy retracement again. You have so many position buyers right now that entered in this area, and as price moves against them, because you now have you do have a lot of aggressive sellers taking profits, because who wouldn't at this point in time? Looking at the overall market structure, we're not in a bull market yet, guys. We're still in a bear market, and you do just want to take nice advantage of this area. Again, kind of looking at that same Again, it's ugly, but you know, if you did want to look at this as a broad cup and shoulders pattern, again, I don't really like the way it looks, but you know, again, you know, cryptocurrencies respond quite nicely to classical charting, and none of this invalidates a cup and handle pattern. It doesn't have to be a smooth bottom. You just look at the overall chart pattern, and I don't trade chart patterns to a T. Again, I find that they resolve so many different ways, to the upside, to the downside, to the left side, to the right side, that they're fairly incongruous to trade. But I do know a lot of successful chart pattern traders, but the reason that they're successful is because A, they have a disciplined strategy, they're using risk management, and they're taking all their positions with a grain of salt as well, and looking at the overall dominant trends. So definitely would be taking profits on TRX if you had entered right now. Again, I have been saying that for a while though, but so take that with a grain of salt. So we'll see how strongly the sellers decide to push price down here. Again, looking for support around that $400 to $420 area, which would be a retest of this previous resistance as support. You would expect to see a nice healthy pullback to these areas. So I would definitely be a bear right now for TRX. Definitely not a bull. And then we'll just see what kind of consolidation we get around that 418, around that 400 to 420 area, which would be a retest of the top of the value area and a retest of also horizontal resistance turn support. So just looking for a pullback to that breakout area as well. And then we'll see what kind of consolidation we get there and see what the chart looks like at that point in time, guys. So, but for those of you, again, I believe I did publish it on TradingView. So here was your conservative entry that you would have wicked down and gotten your entry in that position quite nicely on the day that I made that. So I believe that was right at the end of November. So you guys would be in nice profits right now. And again, did not say that I recommended that trade or anything like that. That's not what I do. But I just show you potential setups right now. So. Also interesting to see that right around that right around that $400 to $420 area, you do have all your fast EMAs coming in right around that area, and you have that 55 exponential moving average sitting quite nicely, resting around that upper, you know, kind of that right now around 372, 380 Satoshis. I expect that as price pulls back, that would actually move itself up to the 400 Satoshi area. We take an alternate look and look at Fisher Transform and Ichimoku as well. Yes, even on the daily chart, we did break nicely out of the cloud. So let's see where the cloud is actually pulling up and spinning up right now. You actually do have cloud support right there, right around that $420 Satoshi area. So, or excuse me, 400 Satoshi area. So assuming if it takes, this would actually be a pullback around till about the mid of January, depending on how long that takes to pull back. You did have a nice week of upside right here, so would be expecting maybe potentially a week of downside. Now this changes if we do actually stop, depending on how far we go down with this daily candle. If we do enter into some sideways consolidation, you could be looking to speculatively take that to the long side, but at that point we would average out a consolidation entry using average true range is the way that I would take it. Obviously Fisher Transform being extremely oversold, we don't have the crossover on the Fisher Transform, but that's because we're going to need actually a day of red for this to actually cross to the downside. But yeah, if we actually look at Fisher Transform, we are entering into that oversold, or excuse me, overbought territory as well. So Fisher Transform resistance right around this area as well. So coming into that, the peak of this previous one, and we do have a little bit, you know, according to Fisher, we could run a little bit more, but looking at the volume, if we go back and actually look back in time, yeah, if we look at the peak of this one, it wasn't a straight shot up. It was a nice, successful, bullish growth of dailies. Looking at the violence of this candle as opposed to those candles, I would be more tentative about a bullish entry at this point in time. Definitely a seller, definitely looking for a fairly significant dump to be coming into here to TRX. So, all right, next request, BCH ABC. I believe I have that on the watch list. Yeah, here we go. All right, so same thing with the entry. We actually did enter into BCH ABC here, and I did do my consolidation entry. We did get stopped out. Of course, this is looking at Bcash ABC to Tether. I do like to trade Tether pairs when I can. But either way, you would have looked at this trade. The first trade did stop out. Then we did have the breakout entry right here, and all take profit entries did hit as well. You did actually come up to that previous resistance order block, that distribution order block. We're not able to close above it on a convincingly daily basis. You did actually close above it, which is fairly impressive here looking at the daily chart. I would be expecting some significant pullback here on BCH ABC. If we actually take a gander here and do a Fibonacci extension, or excuse me, a Fibonacci retracement of this movement, very violent movement. Whoa, hey, we got a super chat. What's going on? I assume that was a test. Scott, thanks for the $5 super chat, brother. Thank you very much. All right, let's take a gander here. I'm I'm gonna have to change that. I'm gonna have to change that running zombie basic emoji thing there, because it should be that super hyped. Thank you so much for the super chat and donations, guys. Again, obviously, you know, if you guys do feel compelled to make a super chat or something, you know, highly appreciated. You're not required to, but it helps us improve the stream, helps keep the lights on here, guys. So you guys are awesome. I just appreciate you joining me here every day. All right. So we did actually have a pullback to that 382 Fibonacci retracement. Would like to see a pullback to the 50% of the 618 Fibonacci retracement based on volume. We did again have that nice blow off top at the top of an uptrend. So would expecting to see some pullback right here. Let's go to the let's go to a smaller time frame and do see what we see here. Okay, yes. So yeah, we did have that nice, look at that. Look on the 4-hour chart on Tether. You can see where my breakout entry was basically an edge-to-edge trade of that cloud. I did have an initial take profit target above the cloud as well, which would have hit. So now we're having a nice healthy pullback. Let's actually do a Fibonacci extension of this as well, because that would have been the latest pullback. So if we are looking at a bullish bias here, if we actually do take the latest breakout impulse wave upwards, and then you can also measure from this one as well if you're so inclined. Looking for confluence here. Yeah, we do have that 886 coming right around that 50% Fibonacci retracement on that particular movement. All right, so could you be looking for a speculative entry right here? You could potentially, if you were looking at this, I would be hedging your risk right here above this high, because I'd want to keep this very tight. So if you were looking for a long position on this right now, definitely have your stop down here around $156. However, I would be more interested in looking for a pullback to test the top of this cloud, or if you're wanting to be aggressive, pull back to the Tenkan San or the Kijun, which are both kind of right here. You do have that. You haven't had a bearish crossover yet of the Kijun or the Tenkan using Ichimoku strategy. Let's actually make this a little bit easier to see. Boom, boom. All right, and let's also pull in our trailing stops as well. Bam. Meaning to do that for a while. All right, let's take a gander here. So if we actually look at, what do we got here for an input? Yes, 7. Okay, that's where I want it to be. So if we actually look at our Fisher Transform Oscillator, we are coming down. We had, you know, multiple, let's see here. We had multiple opportunities to take profits right here. We did have this latest crossover right here. We actually had a crossover right here, actually down in this last consolidation area, and then immediate re-entry according to Fisher. If we do top below the, if we do bottom above the 0 line, based on Alex's strategy of trading the Fisher Transform, that would be a bullish movement. I think that that would also put us nicely right here around the, I would like to see a healthier pullback right here. I do see that the bulls are trying to buy up a little bit at the support level right here. I do think that this probably does break to the downside. I would like to see a healthier pullback and more retracement here on BCH ABC. So potentially looking to aggressively enter around $157. You can also be setting your stop on that $157. Either, again, it just depends on what it looks like when we get back to that area. Do we V-bottom from there? In which case, if you do see bullish pressure, bullish buying volume in that particular area, you would want to be setting your stop probably down here around $136. Again, those are pretty wide margins based off the 4-hour chart. That's a 15% loss. Feel free to set a much tighter stop. But when I'm dealing with altcoins, man, you know, when things are volatile like this, you just take a smaller position size. There's nothing wrong with a 15% loss. It just means that, okay, if you have a $5,000 portfolio, again, I've gone over this ad nauseum, but if you have a $5,000 portfolio, you're only looking to lose 3% of your portfolio on any individual trade. Oh, okay, Scott, sorry, I didn't see your comment there. He asked, can I get a look at Dash, please? Yes, of course, man. I'll look at Dash. When you're looking at... lost my train of thought. Oh, position size. So you just enter with a smaller position size so that whatever your position size, if you do end up hitting your stop loss at, say, negative 15% or whatever, that's going to be congruent to 2-3% of your portfolio. So you just reduce your position size so that you're only still losing the the allocated portion of your portfolio that you want to manage risk with. So current spinning top, doji. If I do see some buying pressure right here, if we are actually able to close, I'd say above this previous, we do have this equilibrium block right here. So yeah, we are in this previous distribution equilibrium block. We have established a new one right here, right there, which is fairly congruent with where the current candle is trading in right now. I mean, this looks identical as well, but just on the way back down. If we are able to close above, what do we got here? If we're able to close a 4-hour candle above $182.71, potentially looking to enter into a position there, I think would be fairly safe. Just make sure that you're keeping your risk fairly tight, because this could just slam back down on you and you could see a healthier pullback as well. All right, moving on. Dash, of course. All right. Let's look at Dash USD, because anything where we're looking at BTC right now is going to be fairly crazy. Let's go over to my standard template of looking at stuff. Wild left price scale. All righty. Haven't charted out Dash in a hot minute. Okay, right there. All right, Dash obviously responding to the market as everything else did. If we actually do look here, you had multiple opportunities to enter. Whether you wanted to take the aggressive call sign above the 21-period exponential moving average, again, we've talked about many ways. Holy crap, gotta watch crypto, man. Thank you so much for the super chat, dude. I am in the lead at $10. Merry Christmas. Hey, man, hey, thank you so much, brother. Highly appreciated, man. Merry Christmas to you as well, man. All right, let's take a gander here at DASH, Mr. Dash. Okay. So you would have had multiple opportunities to take a speculative entry in Dash. Looking at the 4-hour chart and just using the exponential moving averages strategy, you do have that close above the 21-period exponential moving average, which is your initial call sign. Again, you can either take the, we've talked about this before, how I take breakout trades. You can either aggressively buy the initial breakout. So again, we have this candle close right here. You would have bought right here when this 4-hour candle closed, and you would have managed your risk. Let's take a look at average range trailing stops. Let's see, you would have managed your risk at that point in time. Down here, if you're using a 3.5 conservative. Again, when I'm doing breakouts, I tend to be a little bit tighter, so you can either use something like, if you're using average true range, which is still fine, you can use your like 2.5, I think keeps you more conservative. Or you can just set your entry like, for this particular example, you're taking a breakout trade on this candle. So let's zoom in here. You're taking a breakout trade on this candle, which is your actual close above your 21 exponential moving average, and then you're setting your stop loss just right below that candle as well. So that's keeping you with a very tight stop. That would have worked out for you whether you were taking the short scalp up here to the 55-period exponential moving average, or again, you can take this would have worked out for the secondary method of entering into a breakout, which is you actually wait after the breakout for the pullback to test support or the area of the breakout. You could have entered right here and you would have been able to capture this entire movement. So actually, on a dollar to dollar value, I mean, Dash gave you almost a 60% profit valuation here. So seeing a little bit of a pullback after this little period of consolidation, we did actually put in a lower high, and we're now putting in a lower low. So I am expecting to see, maybe when we reach down here to our 21 exponential moving average, potential bounce trade here from $83, but I would be expecting to see another lower high. And if I do see that, then I'd be looking to be completely out of the trade if you are still waiting for a conservative exit for Dash. And if I could short it, I would short it. I'd go over to Kraken and take this thing to the downside. Expecting either a pullback, either here to the top of this value area where we do have this HVN right here, and we've come back down fairly close to test it, but I would like to see a healthier pullback to it as well. So that's actually going to bring us around $81.67, so around that $80 to $82 area. You have another potential support, and again, that's where you have that's where I've charted out this potential support area. So previous resistance does become support. You do see that we did get after the initial breakout right here, so you do have another support area coming in right around here. So after this initial breakout that we saw above the 55 exponential moving average, we had that pullback to test support, or excuse me, resistance as support. We had another run up to our previous normal horizontal resistance area. We found consolidation there, pulled back a little bit to the 21 period exponential moving average, and then we had a real nice massive up thrust up here to our previous distribution order block. We were actually crouched the top of this HVN right here, actually wicked above it. Not into an LVN, which is normally where you see a wick to the upside, but pretty impressive as well. So we do actually, you can look at this the same way we've seen everything else. You could potentially look at this as a cup and handle pattern forming if you want to have a bullish bias, in which case you would actually be looking for a more healthy retracement, as I'd like to see as well. So currently actually right where we're at, if you're looking for that traditional entry for a cup and handle pattern, between the 236 and the 382, managing risk at that 50% Fibonacci. Again, I prefer to be a little bit more conservative with my entries and look for that actual pullback in here around the 618 Fibonacci retracement, which would be pulling you all the way back to the 55 exponential moving average, and right where your actual trailing stop loss would be right now for this movement. Definitely be looking to take profits on the Dash trade right now if you had entered on any of these potential breakout trades, and look for these support levels around $78 and $69 to potentially hold you up. Again, all kinds of ways that you can do this. If you do actually end up closing another 4-hour candle, I would say above $98 to $100, then you can be kind of excited about traversing through this area. And look for these upside targets of $124 and $130. But right now it does look like it wants to come down, and we just kind of have to see like how far it does want to come down. Do I think this 13 exponential moving average holds? Probably not. Again, I could see potentially that the 21 holding, and the 21's currently sitting at $83.57, and we do have our 55 exponential sitting at $76 right now. So that's how I'd be looking to trade Dash right now. Definitely be looking to take profits and looking to take another breakout trade to the upside. Just be careful. If you do take that breakout trade to the upside, the close above $98 to $100, that you do set that stop extremely tight, because the propensity for that to get faded when you do have a very bullish blow off right here. And again, just something that is a pattern for you guys to keep aware of. When you do have a nice healthy uptrend and you do have a blow off top like this, again, this is bullish when you get some nice bullish volume coming in and then healthy retracement, a continued bullish movement. You've got nice healthy volume, but then when you're at the top of an uptrend and you just see an absolute blow off top like this, generally an area where everybody retail has entered, this is an area that's going to be very hard for price to make it over, because now you have so many positioned buyers that bought in at the top right here, and as the sellers take their profit and price moves against them, these positioned buyers will become potential sellers because they'll be looking to exit out of their profit either at a loss, or the reason why this becomes a very difficult area to get over is that you get bullish people looking at this and they think this is just another healthy retracement, and so they buy in right here. But we have all these trapped buyers right here who are looking to exit their position at break even, and this is exactly what you see right here. You had a lot of people buy in right here, then you had the savvy traders take profit, you had individuals try to continue to buy this up, and right here is where you see that these individuals who got trapped right here unloaded on those individuals that bought. So now you have a lot of trapped buyers here, and it's just the process just repeats itself and just repeats itself and just repeats itself. So just be cautious, man. I'm always cautious at entering into the top. Yeah, you could be looking to take speculative entries around these areas and looking to fill your Dash bags anywhere here from $88 to down to $76 if you want. And again, you got that current trailing stop loss down here around $74. So just be cautious with this particular entry. I'd really like to see a more healthy pullback again to that 50% Fibonacci or that 618 Fibonacci again. Retest these areas as support before continuing the upward movement. Again, you could also take that breakout trade at $98 to $100, but just if you do that, make sure that you keep your stop loss much tighter. Again, your upside targets are going to be $124, $130, and $149. Alrighty. There's Dash, man. All right, continuing on with the requests. ETH, XRP, and XLM. All right, let's go take a gander over at ETH. So, of course, ETH is just going to be following BTC along with what it wants to be doing. So this is actually, you did ask for ETH USDT. So let's look at ETH USDT, and I'll actually be able to look at it with some fresh eyes. Obviously, you're trading on Binance. So let's look at ETH USDT with some fresh eyes. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to get rid of all these. We're just going to get rid of all these silly lines. We're actually going to get rid of the volume profile as well for right now. And we're just going to look at the chart. All right, so here's ETH USDT on Binance. And let's do our traditional metrics here. All right, so we're going to be looking for take profit targets first. Current resistances. Bam. Bam. Yeah, maybe that baby right there. I can dig it. And bam. All right, so you've got your upside targets right here. Now let's look at what is potentially going, what has acted as support and what potentially could turn into support. All right, so we're looking for that to hold as support, and it did. And now we're looking for this to potentially hold as support as well. Okay. A simple horizontal support and resistance trading, guys. You always start from the right of your chart and look to the left. You do not look from the left of your chart and look to the right. Because recent volume is more important than historical volume. So I do see kind of the same thing here with Ethereum that I do see with BTC and XBT. But again, timing is important, guys, because I have been saying this for a while. I believe I said this the day after yesterday. I said I wasn't overly interested in taking an XBT long. And people are like, oh my God, Justin, why aren't you bullish? Because the overwhelming market right now is bearish. And so it's very hard for me to be excited about taking a BTC long. Again, I was very, very transparent with the fact that I had been shorting BTC and excited about shorting BTC. And then when we did break that $3,600 support, we broke this resistance block. I was like, hey man, I could get excited about a recovery long here from 3,000. Again, for those of you who have been watching the show for a while, that was my position. And again, going back to my original, again, I deleted all the lines at the beginning of the show, but going back to my original position, it happened just the way I thought it would. We did have this nice run up to about 4,000. We drank beers at 40.24. Did I take profit too early? Yes, I took profit, but again, it's because I took 4 trades on it. I got initially at 36.20, then I got initially at 32.80, 35.50, and then that was over here. And then the last trade we did get fills at 3,100 and 3,150, giving us an average entry of 3,175, and we took profits at 3,500. Now I know that some guys in the members group believed in me more sometimes than I believe in myself, so thank you so much to everybody that's in the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. You guys are fantastic and awesome, and I know that they did ride that position up, so cheers to them, man. All right, let's go back to Ethereum. Yeah, I do kind of see that same blow off top. A lot of people entering and now becoming trapped buyers and position sellers at this particular area. So this becomes a very difficult area to get over. Again, I mean, just look at the chart. You have this breakdown zone right here. You have a little bit of accumulation. You form a falling wedge. You get a nice break movement to the upside. Everybody, you get all the trapped bulls in. People are thinking, yeah, we're going to the upside. But look where you stop out, man. You're just not really able to get over that that redistribution area where you had this big descent, redistribution, bearish selling pressure, a little bit of accumulation, falling wedge, break to the upside. But it's hard to get excited about this. And it's the same thing when I look at BTC USD. It's hard to get excited about this when you see the overwhelming, this overwhelming bearish order block to get over. We didn't really do anything right here. I mean, look, yeah, we had an accumulation zone. We did break above that to the upside. So where are you looking at your next zone of resistance? Well, your previous breakdown zone. And we weren't able to make it up over that. So we are now coming actually to where we would expect support to hold us. So right now that support line is sitting at $107.55. We do actually see the bulls buying it up just a little bit there for a bounce. I would not really expect this to hold supremely well. I would actually expect this to break to the downside, but I could see us getting a little bit of a recovery bounce right here before we continue the movement downward again. I am feeling very comfortable in short positions right now on these particular assets. Let's take a gander here. We could see a bounce up here. A 50% bounce would bring us up to about $112, $114. That would still be forming the pattern of forming a lower high. We already have lower lows. We're just looking to form lower highs. And that would give me nice confirmation and be a re-entry point actually for the short position. Now, if we do actually close, we've got about an hour and 19 minutes for this 4-hour candle to close. If we do close above this $107.55, I would be looking for a potential recovery bounce. We do have areas, we do have short-term scalp areas as well. Just looking right here, you have this area right here. You have this area right here. And you have this area right here. All right, just using horizontal support and resistance. So you could see that little bounce from $107.55 up to $109, $110.16, and $110.67. I guess your next short-term scalp target above that would be $111.53. If all four of those are broken through, again, I'd be excited if we actually formed a higher high, of course. Crypto, or what's his name? Chart guys. The bears want lower lows and the bulls want higher highs. Of course they do, man. It's fucking obvious. So if we actually are able to close a 4-hour candle above 115, that would be a close above the 786 Fibonacci retracement if this is the low. And I would be looking to potentially take that to the upside, at least for a retest of this resistance zone at $118.56. I give that maybe like a 30% chance right now, honestly. Again, your short-term scalp targets right now, if you're trading ETH/USDT, are 109, 110.16, 110.67, and 111.53. I'd be fairly comfortable with those. Close above the 786 Fibonacci retracement at 115 would actually be a 4-hour candle close, which would be actually forming a higher candle body close than you've put in recently. Would be a bullish sign. You've got your next resistance at 118.56 and 126.95. You could potentially be targeting this area right here as well, looking for a take profit target. $120.25. Keeping your eye on that level as well. But again, I prefer to go for more dramatic movements. Still a lot to get over, man. You're still going to have a lot of difficulty getting over this distribution order block. If we take a look at volume profile, you can see why, I'm sure. Yeah, so you're gonna have difficulty getting over this, man. Again, you do close that higher daily. If you do close that higher 4-hour candle body close around that $115 area, you can potentially be looking at these upside targets of 118, 120, and 126. But where do you manage risk? Where do you manage risk? A couple different ways to do it, I guess. Well, I guess the only smart way to manage risk, let's say, so you're taking the breakout trade. Oh, let's bring that back. Let's bring that fib level back. So your breakout trades right here, and you're looking at very short-term targets right here. Let's say you are expecting this upside, take profit level 3. So where do you manage your risk? Difficult to manage your risk, man. Looking at... that would probably be a decent area for me, potentially below this wick. You're still getting a 2-to-1. You're looking at a 3.72% loss on taking that breakout trade to the upside. Let's take a gander at average true range. Let's look at average true range and see what that baby tells us. So currently average true range is sitting at $4.73. So if you took that initiation at 115, ATR would actually be telling you that you can be managing risk at, let's see here. Well, you could be preempting the breakout trade by getting a fill at 473. So 473 times 2 is actually going to be 946. 115.73 minus 946. Give us 106.27. All right, that's actually got you buying here and managing risk at, I don't like that at all, 1655. 99.18. I don't like that at all. I don't like that setup at all, based off horizontal support and resistance. So that's why you do want to look at these metrics. Yeah, yep, I don't like that one bit. So that's the ATR style of entering into a potential consolidation area. But I'd feel much more comfortable just trading this with, you know, intuitive horizontal support and resistance. So 4-hour candle close above $107.55. So basically, if we close kind of right here, you could be looking at a potential fill right here and maybe looking at those upside scalp targets around 109 to 110 bucks. Close above 115.73, potentially looking at long targets of 118, 120, 126. And you're going to have to come to your own conclusions on how to manage your risk. Again, I would probably posit a stop loss around $112, $111 just to keep things fairly tight and be trailing that stop up as you go, because you are looking to take a breakout trade. So you're looking to basically look into that. You're basically looking to trail that stop up immediately as you take the breakout. So just be cautious, man. You know, Ethereum USDT is not an area where I want to be looking to enter into a long. I feel much more comfortable in a short. You know, could we continue? You know, I'm going to be looking at BTC as our leader right here, looking BTC as our leader. So if we do actually have a less healthy retracement and continue on the pop up, again, I will be looking to open up a hedge long, but it won't be a big position size, because the less healthy the retracement, generally it doesn't work out well for the bulls. And I know I've been saying this for a few days, guys, but it doesn't matter. You do have to be cautious, man. You do have to be cautious at looking at this and thinking that we're going to the moon. You have to be very cautious at these upside targets, guys. Next areas of support, if $107.55 does break, I'm going to be looking at $98.70. You do have this high volume node coming in around $103 as well, so just keeping our eye around this area as well. That is actually going to be a healthier retracement and pullback for the entire movement. That is going to put us around the 50% to the 618 Fibonacci retracement as well. All right. Let's see, requests. XRP and XLM. All right, let's take a gander here, buddy. All right, so XRP did have that nice little breakout. I mean, this all looks the same, guys. This all looks the same. You know, yes, we had a nice little run up here, guys. We had a nice little run up, and now we're coming back into our previous distribution order block. And if we're able to break above these areas, yes, we can start getting exciting, especially if the volume, you know, XRP actually looks a little bit more bullish than Ethereum and BTC. We've talked about the negative correlation and the breakaway a little bit in the past, but let's look at let's just look at this with fresh, clean eyes. Chart it like we chart anything else. So yes, this area did hold as support. The last time I took a request for XRP, people were talking about where is a potential entry. We were talking about this area right here holding as support. It did hold as support, and you did actually reject from the distribution area as previously talked about, right around this high volume node right here. You are closing 4-hour candles below that high volume node, looking like you had a run up. You did put in a lower wick. You put it, another lower wick, and you did form. We don't have confirmation yet if this is going to be a lower low or a higher low. If this does form into a higher low, this actually does potentially look nice for a re-breakout. Again, I know a lot of people are talking about XRP being added to Coinbase, so nothing new there. They've been talking about that for a year. All right, so what are areas that we are looking to hold as support? All right, let's chart this with fresh eyes. All right, so yes, we did have that area hold as support at 35 cents, held quite nicely as support. So looking from right to left, we've already had that level of support hold. Now looking from left to right, where are we looking for good take profit targets? All right, well, we got this area right here. That looks nice and juicy to me. And the area that we kind of previously rejected from right there would be a shorter term target. We do have upside targets if we do get this breakout at 37 cents. So 37.79 cents, 39.86 cents, and 41.18 cents. Higher target being higher target being 43.75 cents. And then we have our next distribution order block, which is actually resting from 45 to 47 cents if we are able to get above this. Now that means, what does it mean, get above this? Closing with convincing candle body closes, guys. Doing that breakout type scenario allows you to set your stop much tighter because you are trailing your stop pretty much immediately. So I'd be excited about this if we are actually able to close a 4-hour candle above 39 cents. We close a 4-hour candle above 39 cents. That is going to be forming a higher high, and this would be confirmed as a higher low. So it would be forming something like a symmetrical triangle at the top of an uptrend or at the top of a bullish movement. Again, symmetrical triangles are neutral chart patterns that are generally continuations of the previous underlying trend. If we do take a measured movement from that bad boy, we do get 14.50 to the upside. Let's say we break out right here, although I do want the breakout here above 39 cents, but we will measure here. That would put us actually right up here, right a little bit above this third take profit target right here at about 43 cents. So there's your trade on the table for XRP USD. Looking at the Bitfinex chart again, upside targets of 39 cents, 41 cents, 43 cents, and your measured move if the symmetrical triangle does break to the upside. In between your 43 cents and your 47 to 45 cent distribution order block that you really do need to get over, that will be your next key strong area of resistance as well. Looking at the volume profile, you can also see confirmation of that. If you are able to break above, you are now in the high volume node territory of your previous distribution order block. If you are able to break above this convincingly, again, what does that mean? A 4-hour candle body close at the very least. Above this area, then you do enter into LVN territory, low volume node territory, where price is likely to shoot through very quickly. So we'll just see what happens. We do have this consolidation high volume node area. We might be range bound here for a little bit, looking for these supports around 36 and 35 cents to hold. If those supports do break, the next area that we would look to hold up price would be would be 34 cents. If that breaks, then the next area that we're looking for price to be held up is probably down here at 31 cents as well. All right. So honestly, I would feel more comfortable in a short position with this right here. I feel I've probably missed an optimum entry, so I just probably wait on this to break this symmetrical triangle. I'll hedge maybe with a long as we enter into this previous support area around 35 to 36 cents. If we do break that and close below it on a convincing basis, I'll potentially look to completely close out my hedge long and just add to my short position. Looking at downside targets of, again, 34 cents and 31 cents if you are looking to take the short position to the downside. But I would wait for a convincing close below the supportive order block or below the symmetrical triangle, which actually does look like it wants to break to the downside. But we'll just wait and see. We'll play that pattern out, and we'll wait and see, guys. As always, patience, patience, patience. And Stellar Lumens. Let's take a look at my baby. All right, so Stellar Lumens, guys. The experience with the Kraken cryptocurrency trading group with Stellar Lumens has kind of been a harrowing one, guys, honestly. Now, it would have been a lot better if I would have just taken the trade that I had formulated for everybody on the chart, but of course that was after the fact, guys. So we did actually start averaging in the Stellar Lumens all the way down. We did not stop loss out. We had a very wide stop on our Stellar Lumens, and that's because of the dollar cost averaging nature of our call. Then I actually got asked to chart this out, and I did actually formulate this entry block with your stop loss right here. And then, of course, I did have the upside targets right here. We've hit 1, 2, 3, 4, not 5. 5 of those upside take profit targets, and did get rejection from the previous distribution order block / high volume node right here. Coming back down to consolidate a little bit within this HVN right here. This is starting to look quite bullish to me. We did actually get initial rejection from the 50% line of this descending channel right here. Struggling to get over that as well, but we have put in a higher high, and we've put in a higher low as well. So now we can look at this. We have 2 touches, so now we can start to look at this as something like an ascending channel. Excellent, beautiful, I like it. Yeah, let's work on that. There we go. And I guess I just have to be fair and measure here from the top, from the two touches. So that actually could be looked at as a broadening bottom. You see that microphone pattern. Generally, that is bearish because that's looked at as something like a bear flag. So you do have this downwards movement, and then kind of the bear flag moving itself up. It looks to me more like a broadening bottom. We'll just see which way this resolves. Broadening bottoms only have a 30% chance to actually break to the upside right here. So we do need to see a break of this consolidation, or excuse me, this previous distribution order block, which right now is coming in around 3,300 satoshis to 3,250 satoshis. If we do close above that, we are above the previous distribution order block, and we are looking at these more significant upside targets. Again, the next significant distribution order block coming in around 36 to 3,500 satoshis. And again, guys, we are kind of at the bottom of this consolidation pattern as well. If we look at the 4-hour chart, we can see that overall XLM has been range bound for quite a while. Price has tightened up a little bit here in recent history, but again, we are at the bottom of that downtrend. So historically, XLM being a very strong coin, this is a good time to enter. I'm fairly bullish on XLM until we actually do get a break down below this entry box. We're actually out of position right now on XLM. Again, I know that some people played the trade differently. We did actually get back up to that break-even point because we had entered with an average around 3,100. So we were actually underwater for a while. I know a lot of people took the opportunity to break even right here. Some people decided to hold on. They were able to take profits if they were able to capture these 4-hour wicks, but again, you can see where we did have take profit targets set right here. So XLM to me looking tentatively bullish. I will wait to see kind of how this channel plays out. Looking for that strong break to the upside above 3,300 satoshis, and I'll be very excited actually. So because we do have somewhat of a, even though this is a previous distribution order block, this is the only HVN territory of that as I've charted out right here. And we do have a fairly low LVN up here until this next distribution order block as well. So be fairly confident to take the break trade from that. But again, still have a small position in XLM myself. I took the opportunity to get out mostly at break even at 3,100. But if this pattern plays out, I will look to accumulate dips. And I'm still fairly confident to have a fairly wide stop on this area right now. So I still like the way XLM looks right now. Tentatively bullish, but again, things change immediately if XBT breaks dramatically to the downside here. Below 3,000, I'm pretty much looking to just short XBT, ETH, XRP. XRP, I'd probably just actually range trade and scalp trade. I feel less confident about taking long-term positions in XRP because XRP could kind of really do some crazy shit, but I would be looking to take long-term shorts and add to my shorts aggressively. If XBT does break down here, I'd be looking to short Ethereum as well. I feel very comfortable with those positions, and I won't be playing altcoins at all. I'll be completely out of the market on altcoins. All right, so that's all the requests, guys. 3 minutes left in the show. Man, we made it, guys. 2 hours of doing this every day. Let's go check out the chat and see if I missed anything. And again, Restream not working for me. Brandon Murray, I'll look at Monero super quick just to see if anything interesting is happening. Hello, Monero. Monero breaking out right now, guys. Yes, Monero is breaking out, guys. Did have initial entry right here, so this was my entry box. Did get stopped out, back into the entry box right now. Looking like Monero is actually trying to break out above that distribution level and the high volume node right there. Guys, get in if you want to take a breakout trade. Hail to the yes. Here's your upside targets. There you go, man. You got upside targets of 0.0136 Satoshis, 0.014, 0.01465, and ultimately 0.015538, guys. Keep your stops pretty tight. Again, you kind of want to see confirmation of this, but it looks like it wants to do it, man. You have this nice little pullback. You form a higher low, and it looks like we are going to break out right now on XMR. Hell to the yes. Probably manage your risk right about here, probably around 1,300 Satoshis. Might even make that trade myself, dude. Looking pretty good. Thanks for the shout. Thanks for the lookout, man. All right, guys, let's end today's show as we always do. Happy Christmas, man. Omega, thanks for joining us, brother. All right, let's end as we always do, guys. Let's talk about the most important thing that you can do for today. Head on over to crackingcryptocurrency.com, guys. You guys know you want to, man. Good website. Scott continues to improve on this. It continues to look better and better and better every day, man. He's really killed it. Again, the last thing that I've got to do is just go kind of clean up the copy, and we'll be beautiful, perfecto. Listen, guys, a lot of ways to support the stream. We are here every single morning at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, noon on the Eastern Seaboard. Again, never feel compelled to donate or anything like that. And it helps Scott from eating ramen. He's getting very tired of eating ramen, guys. But a lot of ways you can support us at no cost to yourself. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate it. Give us a subscribe and the notification on YouTube. Please go over to twitch.tv/cracking_crypto. You give us a follow on there for no cost. Just helps support the stream. If you got Amazon Prime, you can give us a Twitch subscription. Doesn't cost you anything. We get a couple bucks. And I know you guys like to receive value for any donations that you like to give to the show. If you guys would like to get some merch, we do have our merch store available. Again, wearing a Cracking Crypto HODL shirt myself, as always. And so, if you actually go over to the Cracking Cryptocurrency merch store, you will be able to purchase this, the finest in all beverage vessels, the Cracking Crypto HODL mug. Let me show you my favorite right here, this baby right here, the contrast HODL mug with our logo as the O. This, I mean, just look at this magnificence. You've never seen something as fantastic as this, guys. This is fantastic. I've been drinking my morning coffee out of this, and I have been 80% more successful in my trades, and I've become 90% more attractive to the opposite sex. This is just fantastic. I mean, the results are just unbelievable, guys. So head on over to the merch store if you guys want to support us out, man. We highly appreciate it. If you would like to join the Cracking Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group, guys, you will get access to the VIP chat room. You will get access to the VIP day trading voice chat. You will get access to all our trade setups and signals. You get access to the resource library, which currently encompasses around 2 to 5 gigabytes of PDFs, webinars, cryptocurrency courses, workbooks, ebooks, everything you could possibly imagine to transform yourself into a better trader today. You get access to the private webinars with the Cracking Cryptocurrency Trading Group and analyst team of traders every Friday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Actually, we are going to be moving the webinar to tomorrow because the topic is going to be using the Fisher Transform to trade into consolidation, to trade into a trending market, and how to use the Fisher Transform to maximize your trading as the superior oscillator of choice for Cracking Cryptocurrency. Alex is going to be helping me out with that, and due to his schedule, we are going to be doing the webinar tomorrow evening for the subscribers. Let's see here. Yes, so currently still for the month of December, you get access to all that. It is $80 a month before we revert to our regular pricings, the beginning of January 2019. So everything is on sale right now. So go check that out if you're interested. You can find all the information on the website. It's also in the Discord, or you can DM any admin or moderator in the Discord as well if you have any questions, guys. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave any questions, opinions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats in the comments section down below, or you can reach us at contact@crackingcryptocurrency.com, or you can DM us again in the Discord. We're very easy to get a hold of. Thank you so much to everybody who has decided to join me today. You are all fantastic, wonderful people. I hope you guys have a fantastic Friday. Be careful, be safe, and as always, trade smartly, guys. Peace out.